about today. And to start, I just want you guys to know that, but I hope when you walk away today after this presentation that you feel like you've learned how to create space so that you can live your life, what systems to create so you can focus on what's important to you, and then how to maintain a life with only the things in it that you love and choose to have their own purpose. So a little bit about me, I feel like my superpower is honestly the ability to help people clarify and hone in on what they value most. So paring down to the essentials is the most direct route to figuring out who you are and what you truly fancy. In fact, I can't think of anything else that I'd rather do than just to help people improve their lives and improve their spaces by honestly just having less. So I am going to sneak over here really quick. So I must have took this part out of my presentation. So I'm just going to kind of talk to you a little bit about me. I am actually, I'm a certified life coach through the Life Coach School. And I also have had my business for almost 6 years now. And when I first started out, I was actually in homes. So I was in homes, I had a team, and we would go in and we would help people organize their homes. And I love that I had that opportunity because it helped me realize that not everybody has organized homes. And it helped me to also realize that a lot of the reason why they didn't have organized homes is because of what they were thinking about their things and about letting go of things, and that there really was kind of a mindset thing there. And so that's why I decided to go to school and get certified as a life coach. And so now I can help my clients when I meet with them. I can help them discover why are we holding on to things, and why do we have so many things in our homes, and help them decide and clarify on purpose of what they really want to keep and what they're just ready to let go of. So that's just a little introduction of me. So I just wanted to I want to talk to you guys today about how to become future focused. So let's just take some time to talk about what your future looks like. This is a toolkit that I use with all of my clients, and this is kind of the way that I like to present it. So first is clarifying where you are and where you want to be. And then simplifying by subtracting the items that don't serve your current visions or your goals. Systemizing each space by type and by usage so it will be really easy to find what you need when you need it. And then styling your spaces with what feels true to you. And then refreshing your space by implementing those simple habits. So clarity, let's clarify where you are and where you want to be. And as I'm talking, I want you to kind of think about some of these questions and think about your own homes and your own spaces. So what new results do you want to create in your home and in your life? And what is your primary motivation for making that change right now? Why do you even want to make a change? Is it because you feel like you can't find your keys? You don't know where things are? You feel like not everything has its own home address? What is your primary motivation for even making a change right now? And then when it comes to simplifying and systemizing your home and your life, what benefits are you most excited about? And what is your most compelling why? You'd be surprised. Most of the time when I say to my clients, why do you even want to make this change right now? They're like, I don't know. I just think that maybe more freedom, and I'm like, let's write it down. Let's like really discover, why do you want to have less? What is your most compelling why for doing this right now? So your mindset honestly matters. And I want you to do something that's really hard for most people. And that is to believe in yourself and your ability to achieve your big goals before you have actually accomplished anything. And how do you do that? You think about the result you want, you visualize it, you write it down, you start talking about it as if it has already happened. So there's a word that there's two words, and we're going to talk about both of those in this presentation today, but there's two words that I really encourage my clients to banish. And one of them is hope. Don't hope that you are going to meet your goal. Believe that you are going to meet it and commit to making that happen. And when you believe in yourself and your goals ahead of time, you will start to feel excited and motivated and energized. So as you start practicing, that's when the vision can come alive. So something that I teach my clients, and I know these other ladies probably do as well, is everything that you think creates a feeling that puts you into action, and then it ultimately gives you a result, and you become that person. So here are a couple of challenges that maybe you're thinking right now. You're like, but Jancy, I don't have time to organize maybe all your files right now. Like maybe you're deciding that you want to organize the files in your office or your important documents, and it makes you feel really stressed. And so we don't want to feel stressed. And so what do? We go do something that feels comfortable, right? So we watch Netflix and we scroll through Instagram, we read a book, we overwork, and then we become a lady who, or a person who doesn't have their paperwork and files organized. So instead, a solution could be when your brain automatically goes to, I don't really have time to do this right now, is thinking on purpose, you know what, I could invest 20 minutes a day after work for organizing my important documents or my files. And just me saying that, it feels really empowering. And so then what do? Well, we choose a time to organize these important files or this space that you chose to organize. We put that on the calendar. We honor that commitment to ourselves as if we were going to a job. So just like you show up every day to work, or you show up every day as a mother or wife, you honor that commitment to yourself. And then I love to teach to just do a 20-minute win. So 20 minutes, you set a timer for 20 minutes, which helps your brain to stay focused on whatever it is that you are doing. And then you get to start organizing your paperwork or that space in your home that you're striving to get organized. And then you get to become a lady who has all her important documents and files organized for good. So it really is about just asking better questions. And when you ask better questions, you get better answers. So what do you need to start doing to get the results you want? Maybe every day when you get home from work, or if your kids come home from school, everybody's just piling everything on the kitchen counter. So what do you need to start doing to get the results that you want? Well, clutter is just information. So when you look at the clutter, you think, I don't have hooks for the keys, or I don't have a hook for the backpack. So what do you need to start doing in order to get the results you want? What do you need to stop doing to get the results you want? And what can you do right now to get the results that you want? And what is the next small step that you can take? And what would it look like if this was easy, fun, and simple? Because this is something that I teach my clients. If it's not easy, fun, and simple, we are not doing it, right? So how can we make it more easy, fun, and simple? So I like to start by teaching you to be the boss of your own to-do list. You start with a project download. What does that look like? It's basically you just take all the spaces or anything that you're wanting to get organized or simplified in your home, and you just get it down on paper. You just basically just dump it out on the piece of paper, and you write down every single thing that comes out in your mind, and you write it until there's nothing else in there. And then you get to simplify and prioritize your list. So I always teach my clients, okay, you got it out on paper, now just take a breath. It feels good because it's actually out on the paper and not in your mind anymore. And you get to just flash out anything that maybe is not most important. Maybe in your mind, you need to organize the whole house. Well, how can we just like simplify that down to just maybe a tiny space? Maybe you decide, instead of my whole house, it's really important to me just get my closet organized. Well, how can you simplify that even more? Well, maybe instead of your whole closet, you're like, I just want to simplify my shoes, right? So it's like taking that down and slashing what's not important that you wrote out on your list, because there's going to be crazy stuff that comes out, right? And just slashing it down to only the things that are most important. And then you just get to pick one project that you're going to focus on. So now that you've downloaded your brain and you've prioritized your projects, it should be really easy to just focus on one. Focus on the first one that became the most important. And don't obsess over this. If you truly want to organize your entire home or anything in your life, trust that you will make it happen in good time. Remember, one room done is better than no rooms done at all. And the most important thing is just to make a choice so that you can start taking some action. So just decide what that space is and then go. So let's break it down. Trying to tackle an entire room at once can really feel overwhelming and paralyzing. Even for me, when we go into a home to help a client organize, just like tackling the entire room can feel so overwhelming, right? So just picking a tiny, teeny little space. So let's say that you decide that you want to get your closet organized. Again, going back to just like, let's just simplify your shoes. Or if shoes even feels too overwhelming, let's just simplify your boots or just your sandals. Just really narrowing it down to one tiny little space and little teeny area or I was going to say topic, but just an area, right? So you'll be able to tackle one room at a time, one tiny project at a time without the overwhelm. And so that's where the 20-minute small and simple wins comes in. When we set a timer, we can just laser focus on whatever it is that we are working towards and on. And then it's really important to schedule time to get it done. Have any of you heard the phrase, a goal without a plan is just a wish? That's honestly such a clever phrase, because if you want to tackle your big goals, you're going to have to carve out time. Creating a regular appointment on your calendar is honestly a surefire way to make progress towards your goal and prevent you from stopping. So blocking out those 20 minutes to 3 hours, that's what I like to encourage my clients. After 3 hours, your brain's kind of fried and you just like, oh, you just go into overwhelm, right? So picking something that you know is going to take between 20 minutes and 3 hours is a really good time. But you know which kind of person you are. So decide how long you're going to dedicate to your project, set a timer, and then you get after it. So planning ahead of time and then honoring your calendar is literally the only way to be certain that you get the results that you want in your life. And I can almost guarantee you will not want to do the things you've scheduled when they come up. It's just how our human brains are wired, right? We want to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. So here's what you need to do. Even if you don't want to take action when that time comes, and you're most definitely probably not going to want to, you're going to want to go do those things that sound more fun. Just let that little friend resistance sit on your shoulder, come along for the ride. Don't push it away and don't panic. Just allow it to happen, accept it, and then just remind yourself of what your most compelling why was. Why did you even want to start this? So here's the truth. When you get comfortable with feeling resistance, but take action in spite of it, you will start to develop integrity with yourself. You will start seeing yourself as someone who follows through no matter what. So this is one of life's most important life skills that you can learn and practice. If you can allow yourself to feel discomfort and still take action, you will be able to tackle any goal that you have, and you will honestly be unstoppable. So starting is always the very, very hardest part. I want to make sure that your house goals or any other goals that you have are very, very small, especially if you've struggled to do this successfully in the past. So instead of overshooting, commit to just that 20 minutes. There are so many spaces that you can do in just 20 minutes. Let me give you a list. You could do your sock drawer. You could do your utensil drawer. You could do just like what we always call like our junk drawer. I like to call it the multi-purpose drawer. So like just something like that, that can take 20 minutes. Just taking it, even if you're just simplifying it, just taking everything out that doesn't belong there, you're relocating things or whatever that is. And then just doing it in 20 minutes, I promise you will be so excited that you will be opening up that drawer, that cupboard several times during the day, because it will change your life. It'll make you excited, and that momentum will help you to move on to a different space or area. So I want you to know that a lot of times you might be thinking, oh, I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know which space to start in. Everything you know is already inside of you. So with clarity of purpose, the right mindset, the willingness to fail, and feel discomfort and the belief in your eventual success, it will just be a matter of time before you reach that finish line. So why is simplifying so hard? What is simplifying? So simplifying is really just this process of deciding what you should keep and what you should let go of. And why is it so hard is because you haven't really clarified what your compelling why is. You haven't really decided what that is, and then it helps you get distracted really easily. So as I'm talking, I want you to kind of start thinking like, are these some of the thoughts that have went through my mind sometimes? Um, a lot of times when we're trying to let go of things, we're like, oh, but I have had this since high school, and we cling to the past, right? We're like, this was so important to me then, but it's like shoved in the back of a closet somewhere and it's collecting dust and you haven't looked at it for years. Or what if I need this someday, right? We're focusing on the future. Like, I haven't used it in the last 5 years, but what if I need it, right? Or we're like, if I get rid of this, I will never be able to find something like this again if I do need it, right? So it's coming from that scarcity. Or I spent so much money on this, right? It's just something that we think I spent so much money on this, and so I can't let go of it, even though we're not even using it, and it's just taking up valuable real estate in our homes. Or my aunt Sally gave this to me, and I can't let go of it because it will make me feel bad that she gave this to me. Or this would be perfect for my mom or my sister or my friend. And we put it in the garage because we have all good intentions to give it away, and then we don't ever do it. And then it just builds up. And before we know it, we have a whole garage full of things that are perfect for our friends. So how do we cultivate an abundant mindset? Well, we need to practice abundant thoughts, give generously. Something that I always like to think when I'm letting go of something that maybe feels difficult for me is I like to think and envision the person that's receiving it and think about how excited they will be. Maybe that's something they've looked for a long time and they're just so excited that they found this perfect thing. Taking stock of what you already have. It's so funny. I have worked with clients where they will have like 100 spatulas or wooden spoons, and they don't even like to cook, right? So just taking stock of what do I already have and what is it okay to let go of and not maybe simplify it, not have as much. Not comparing and despairing, setting goals and achieving them, and then doing more of what we already love. So here is your simplifying toolkit. And this is just like a really easy breakdown of how you're going to kind of go through things and get rid of things. If you don't do anything else or take anything else away from this little class today, I hope that you can go away just feeling empowered to just get rid of things that you know you're not using. So a recycle bag for things that you can recycle, garbage bags, just sturdy boxes and durable bags so that you can pack up donations. I like to create a relocation bin. So there's lots of times where we'll have things in a space that just doesn't really make sense that that it's there, and maybe it would make more sense to belong somewhere else. A shred box or a container, and then like post-it notes and Sharpies to write down kind of what each of the piles are or what the boxes are. And then always a cleaning cloth and an all-purpose cleaner, because those dust bunnies, they always come up as we're simplifying spaces. So here is your simplifying question cheat sheet. Here are a couple that I'll just pick out. Does this item support and reflect the vision that I have for my ideal life? Is this adding value or clutter to my daily life? Would I buy this at full price today? And a lot of times you're like, no way, I would not buy this at full price, but yet you're not willing to let it go. And could this be more useful to someone else? So here is the second word that I love to have my clients banish from their vocabulary, and that's maybe. Maybe I'm going to need this someday. Can this be a maybe? Can I put this in the basement and decide later? Sorry, friends, but maybe it honestly just prolongs the inevitable and it doesn't serve you. So living in that kind of mental limbo is exhausting. So whatever it is, just remember you have all the answers inside of you. I promise if you were to take the time to lay out the things that you're like, maybe, you know inside if you love that, if you are going to wear that again, if it's your closet, if you're going to use it again, you know all those decisions inside of you. So just banish that word maybe and just make a decision. So here are 5 things that you can let go of now. Things that are broken or damaged, it's okay to let them go. Things that are coated in dust, because when did you honestly use it last? Mystery items. If you don't know what it is, you don't need to keep it. I know a lot of times we'll be organizing and helping clients with their kitchen, and I'll pull up something and I'm like, I'm not really sure what this is. And they're like, me neither. And so I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can let that go, because if you don't know what it is and I don't know what it is, then we probably don't need to keep it. Things with missing parts. And this is a big one, unfinished projects. So anything that you kind of taken home and you're like, I'm going to finish this later, right? We all have a closet that's full of these kinds of things. Just free yourself from that maybe one day thinking and go ahead and let that go. Here are 5 things that you probably have too much of. Spatulas. Do you even cook? Gifting supplies. We worked with a client, and this is with her permission, but we were working with her, and she had like so many gift bags, and we just kept pulling them out of her closet. And there were so many. I said, can we please count these? And there was like 863 gift bags. And she's like, I had no idea, right? And so you really don't need probably 863 gift bags. Pens, reusable bags, and formal china. If you're using your formal china, absolutely 100% keep it. But if it's just something that's been passed on from generation to generation and it's just taking up valuable real estate, it's okay to let that go. So let's talk a little bit about systemizing and sorting. This is basically organizing. Here is a myth that most people maybe don't know. And that is that some people are born with the organizing gene and others are just hopeless. And this is honestly just nonsense, because organization is not about perfectionism. It is simply about being intentional and purposeful about how you care for your belongings. And I honestly have a massive amount of evidence over the course of my career that anyone at any age can learn the basic skills of organization. So why do we even bother? What's the big deal with systemizing and organizing? I truly believe that getting organized is honestly one of the greatest acts of self-care that you can practice. And taking the time to get organized is the key to unlocking the exact life that you want. And here are some reasons why. You can be more efficient when you are organized. You can have clarity and control. You can have freedom, tranquility, and honestly, quality of life. So here is organization simplified. Organization is truly as simple as applying these 2 basic practices. Number 1 is grouping similar items together in categories. So like with like. And number 2 is storing each of those categories in one home address. So I like to teach that your home, everything in your home should have a home address, just like your home does. If you were to have a fire, the fire department can find your home because you have an address on it. So that means that everything has a home, has a place in your home to go, and then it's labeled so that everybody in your family knows exactly where to find it. So here are a few just simple organizing examples. Think about if you have a child that has ever been to kindergarten or preschool. When you walk into the room, everything is very organized. You've got everything where you color is over here, you hang up backpacks here, the toys are over here. Everything has its own home address, its own place. Think about the grocery store. When you go to the grocery store, can you imagine if you went into the grocery store and everything was just everywhere? And you had to go down several different aisles to find cereal, and then you had to go down several different aisles to find where the cleaners were. Everything was mixed together. Grocery stores are organized, right? You have all the dairy here, and you have all the breads here, and you have all the cleaners here. Everything has a section. It has its own home address. What about the gym? It's got treadmills over here and weights over here, and you've got ellipticals over here. Everything in our world, if you can start looking around, you will start to see so many examples of things that are organized. So systemizing by type and usage. Consider items which deserve a spot in your prime real estate storage areas and which can be tucked away for seasonal or occasions. So don't be afraid if you're left with an empty shelf or drawer. So a lot of times we'll be helping clients and they'll say, oh, this drawer is empty. What should I put in it? And I'm like, do you have anything else to put in it? Not really. Perfect. You can have an empty drawer, an empty cupboard. That's okay. That giving yourself that gift of space is okay. We feel like we have to fill everything up, and it's okay to have some empty drawers and cupboards. So let's talk a little bit about systemizing in action. Looking for evidence that you're capable of being organized. Many of my clients will confess to being really, really organized at work and then a hot mess at home. But this is really great news because if you can practice being organized in one setting, you have everything you need to start doing it in another setting. So start paying attention to the areas where you are really organized. Maybe you are really, really good at a to-do list. Maybe you have an organized craft closet. Maybe your desk at work is clean enough to eat off of. How can you apply some of those same habits and practices to your home or other areas of your life? So create homes for the items that frequently get misplaced. If you're tired of misplacing your wallet or your phone or your purse, take note of the specific items you frequently misplace and create a clear and designated home for each one of them. Keys can hang on hooks in your bedroom. Your mobile phone can always be returned to the charging station in your kitchen or a pretty basket. And your purse can live on a hook by the back door. So pick one designated spot and commit to it, and then make a daily habit. So practice this small process on a really small space. Select that little tiny area. Dump all the contents on that are in that area. Say you're working in your junk drawer. I like to call it multi-purpose drawer. You're pulling everything out. You're laying it all out on the desk or the surface. And then you're grouping all the things that you're going to keep into broad categories. So all the pens together, anything, maybe all the elastic bands together, everything that just is grouped together that you're going to keep. And then decide where each group should live in your home. So like if this is all going to stay in this drawer, where is it going to live? Do you need to have a place and a little home address for every single item? So I want you to remember the key to any systemized space is that all items are grouped in categories by type, and each items are categorized and assigned clear and intuitive home addresses. Okay, here are some really big mistakes that some people make. Organizing before you're simplifying. So it's so important to get rid of the things that you're not using before you actually organize. And then mistake 2 is trying to systemize everything at once. If you're trying to do it all at once, it can be so overwhelming that you're not going to do it. You're going to quit, right? And then your third mistake is shopping without a plan. So this happens all the time. The first thing my clients always say is, okay, what things do I need to buy to organize? I'm like, wait, let's slow down. Let's get rid of things first before we organize. So how do you start like a pro? When I start a new project, my client, like I said, they're so excited to buy the organizing supplies. They just want to go out and just get all the things. But we need to simplify first. So always simplify and systemize your space completely before you shop. And you can jot down notes as you go, like I need to buy drawer organizers for the junk drawer in the kitchen. And then make specific lists of exactly what you need to complete or style your space. Shallow drawer dividers for office drawers, baskets for pantries, like being very, very specific. And then this is something everybody likes to skip over, but write down exactly what you need and then the measurements. Exactly the measurements of whatever it is that you're shopping for. If you need 3 baskets, what are the sizes of those baskets that you need? And then number 4, I like to encourage you to take photos of the areas for which you are going to be sourcing products. So this will just make it really easy to be able, when you're at the store or if you're looking online, to be able to look at it and specifically know what you are shopping for. Here's a little diagram, a little example of if you were going to do a pantry makeover. This is how many bin clips I would need. This is how many containers, this is how many Lazy Susans, and so on and so forth. So organization is not about perfection, but rather about being intentional as to how you set up your stuff in your space. And you need to define what being organized enough is for you. And it's so different for everyone. That's why I call my company Finding Your Fancy. Because what is my fancy and what is your fancy could look completely different. And that is the most beautiful thing. So, what is your definition of success? Are we going full Martha Stewart here, or are we repurposing old shoe boxes to make drawer dividers? What is your definition of being organized enough? And how will you know when you have achieved it? Make sure your answer is clear and it's specific and it's measurable, and write down your answer. Okay, we're going to skip through style just because of time and refresh, but something that I just want to go through with you is be the gatekeeper of your own home. Put things away right away. Unpack when you get home from a trip, or these are some habits that you can get into. Create a 5-minute daily tidying routine. Deal with your paper as it comes in. Like, where is it going to go? Is it going to be shredded? Is it going to be filed away? Does it need to go into an action folder that you're going to be taking action on it? Set up a donation bin. I really encourage my clients, if you want to be able to simplify your closet and just stay on top of it, just have a donation basket in your closet and have a little label that says donations. Have you ever just like tried on a shirt or something and it's so itchy or it doesn't fit? And what do? We just like hang it back up in our closet, right? And so instead of that, you're like, this is so uncomfortable. I hated this all day. When I wore it today, just go ahead and just place it in that donation basket. And when that basket is full, then you can just take it to donation, and it will feel so good to only have the things in your closet that you love and that fit you. So here are some things that you never have to bring into your home. You guys ready? Conference swag. We always think we have to bring in conference swag. It's okay not to have that. Hotel toiletries. If you use them, awesome. Bring them home, use them, repurpose them. If not, don't even bring them home. Stadium giveaways or promotional giveaways, souvenirs from trips. You don't have to bring home souvenirs, or souvenirs from other people's trips. Perfume samples, hand-me-downs that you don't actually want, or party favors. Okay, that's a wrap. Here are just a few simplicity statements I want you to think about. Buy less, live more. Invest in high quality and solid craftsmanship. Treat your space with respect. Create a home that supports your personal goals and your core values. Be the gatekeeper of your own home. I pinky promise at the end of the day, here is what I know for sure. Your home is an environment that shapes your daily life, and little things make a really big difference. So make your bed, clear a surface, clear out your junk drawer, pick out an outfit the night before. Do small things every single day that feel good and move you towards the life that you want. Honestly, transformation is made up of small, consistent actions. Put in the work, and I pinky promise that you'll reap the rewards in the form of increased happiness and decreased stress. Dream big, start small, and keep going. Okay, I can stop sharing and we can have questions if you want, or.
I love it. That was so
I love
great.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good.
Thank
I
you.
jotted down a few little things. Did you do the same, Ruth?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Awesome. Okay. Let's do it.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, go run, Sherry.
Okay. I loved the 20-minute win. I think that is a really great thing to think of. And I think we often dismiss what we can do in a little amount of time because we have so much drama in our minds about what we think we should, like, we think we shouldn't have that mess to begin with.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take more than 20 minutes to get it picked up because I shouldn't have it in the first place. Do you find that with your clients? Like that they have so much drama?
Feel like 20 minutes is like not long enough. Like I just have too much. Yeah. That's when I just tell them to just break it up. Like, let's break it up. Like, we look at like this big, huge, overwhelming pile and we're like, there's no way I can do this in 20 minutes. But what if you were just to even get like this teeny section of this little pile? Like, what if you just, even in 20 minutes, you threw away, I don't know, 30 pieces of paper that was in your clutter of paper clutter, right? That's going to feel like a win. And then let's just keep going with those 20 minutes, because it really, that's what the 20 minutes does, is it gets you excited and motivated to just keep going for another 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it because I think about I have a son that has some learning disabilities. And when he was little, we were trying to help him learn how to clean his room.
Mhm.
And, you say to your kids, go in and clean your room, and they go in and they fiddle around and they don't do it. Right. And
Right,
so
right.
I realized that for him, I needed to help him understand how to break down cleaning his room. And
Yes,
so I would tell him, go in your room and get all of the shirts that are on the floor and put them in your dirty clothes basket, and then come talk to me.
yes.
And so he would go and he would get all the shirts, and then he would come talk to me, and I would go in there with him and I would say, now what do you see? Like,
Mhm.
it's so much. I mean, just the shirts off of his floor made such a huge difference. So
Huge.
I think it's just that, but we just have so much drama in our
Yeah, it's all that
minds over it.
it's that decision fatigue, and just keep spinning and we don't feel like we can do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's such a
Mhm.
good example. I love that.
The other thing that I loved about it is how organization is self-care.
Mhm.
And sometimes I myself forget that. But when I have my space organized, it just makes me feel so peaceful and
Yeah.
quiet in my own head.
Yeah.
So I've kind of, I think, I don't know. I mean, I have all boys, so the jury's out. We'll see. But I've told them so many times, thank you so much for doing the dishes, because it makes my anxiety go down when the
Mhm.
kitchen is cleaned.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I know you don't really think anything of it, like it's just a job for you and it's a pain and whatever, but it just helps my anxiety so much when the dishes are done. So I appreciate you doing that for me. And that has helped them to see, oh, wait, she's not just making me do it because she doesn't want to.
Mhm.
She's
Yeah.
asking me to do it because it's helping her.
Yeah. And I love the communication too. Like, oftentimes we just think, why are they not doing the dishes? Like, they should just know,
Mhm.
but just that communication, it just is setting up for success,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly too, Sherry, I like, as far as closets and stuff, I like, you help people like find their own style and stuff. If you can only have the things in your closet that you love, that fit you, that feel amazing, like, you're already set up for success. I always share this story, but when I one time we were going on this vacation, and I got vertigo, and I was like flat in bed and I hadn't packed, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I called my daughter in and I just said, just pack my swimsuit, just pack me all up. And I was thinking about it later. She packed me up and we got there. And I thought, how awesome it is that she can go in my closet and pack anything up. And I know that it fits me. I know that I love it. And I know that I'm going to be great with whatever she packs, because everything in my closet is what I love, right? And that's just like such a testament to me, the
Mhm.
importance of only having the things in your closet that you love,
Yep.
and thinking
Yeah.
about you and your
Mhm.
client. So
Yeah, I teach my clients that all the time. Like, if it doesn't fit you and you don't like it, then it's
yeah.
just taking up space. It's taking up space in your closet and it's taking up space in your brain. Like,
Hmm.
just take it out.
So I love that.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
Ruth, you're up.
I love the exercise of decisions. That's what it is for me. That's where I've seen it come out. And what's interesting for me is there's a very high correlation between how people spend their money, I would say manage their money, manage their time, and manage their stuff, because it's about decisions. It's about prioritizing the values. Like, I teach that way too. In fact, I remember I had a client who he had quite a few health problems. He was really good at what he did. He had been wanting a promotion for a long time, and he had lots of debt. We started working with his money, and then he could take these decisions. And one of his assignments was to now organize his stuff, because a lot of times people spend money, like they blow their budget buying stuff that they already have. They just
Yeah.
can't find it, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yes.
So that kind of stuff. And then he went through, and I actually assigned him the Joy of Decluttering book.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
because I know how to do it. I just don't know how to break it down for people. And
Yeah,
if somebody can
right.
teach it better than I can, like do it, go over there.
Yeah, for
So when
sure.
he finished the exercise, he made a really cool observation, because shortly after, like, he got his money down, his debt was going away like crazy. His house was getting cleaned up. His health was cleaning up. He was so much happier, and he got the promotion. And
Wow.
he said, I think it's interesting because they observed me before, like I was qualified, but I wouldn't have been a good leader because I didn't know how to make decisions.
Wow.
His idea was just, you just buy the biggest and the best. I need the biggest and best computer or security system or like whatever it was. I just needed the biggest and best. He called it the Tim the Toolman Taylor syndrome, right?
Oh, I love that.
But
Yes.
when you understand how to make decisions,
Yep.
decisions about your stuff, what is it that I need? When is enough, and when is a little bit more effort or a little bit more price or a little bit more work actually gets me significantly more. And so like it was just all around, cut his expenses, increase his income. And like I can feel that with my spaces, with a little bit of effort, making decisions. Jancy, I haven't told you this, but I've moved 1,000 times.
1,000 times?
Well,
Oh
let's
my
see.
goodness.
I mean, we've moved 4 times in the last 4 years. I can give you that number.
Wow. Wow.
And one of those moves, we actually moved twice in the same house because the house like fell apart. So we moved
Wow.
in, and within that same month of moving in, like I had my house organized, like everything flooded and there was black mold everywhere. So we had to move out of a U-Haul,
Oh, wow.
remodel the house, move back into the house. Anyway, so I just think like all the things that we do in our life, we reclaim all of that when it's organized. Like how much space in our
Yep.
brain
Yes.
and energy do we take when we know where the keys are, when we know where the dishes are, when we know
Yes.
where, like, it's so much better. And when you make those decisions once, like the big decision, where does this go? You don't have to make that decision again. It just becomes
100%.
automatic.
You
Yes.
said it exactly right.
And then
Yes.
as a mother, I know, like, you, not only did you set your daughter up to help, but you've set her up to be independent. So now you're not telling her where her shirts are.
Yeah.
You're not telling her where the dishes are. You're not telling her where it is. Like, so now she feels empowered and she can create the identity of, I'm a totally capable human being. I can do this. I know how
Yeah.
to clean a bathroom. I can get dressed myself. I can, like, whatever it is as they age. And to me, that's one of the important things, is because I'm married, but I'm a single mom because he's always gone. So if it's me and my 4 kids, I have to empower them to be on their own. I have to empower them to be able to do stuff, and then eventually help things, and that grows them. Anyway, so I love this, and I love how you broken things down. And I know when I was in the second time we moved into the house in Birmingham, I was like, I cannot make another decision. I cannot. So I ended up hiring a girl to come in and help me finish, because I was like, I seriously cannot make another decision.
Yes. Yes. And that's good. Like if you need professional help, like bring in somebody, right?
Mhm.
But I love just like the thought of like everything is already inside of me.
Mhm.
Like I just love that thought so much, and going to that, because we do get in this, I don't know, I can't do this or whatever, but we don't take the time to just kind of stop and pause and think about it. And then when we do, like, oh yes, I do know the answers, right? We know they're already in our hearts. They're already there. So yeah, the
Yeah,
decision
that
is so
the
good.
I don't know. The I don't know is that rattle brain in the back where it's like autopilot,
Yep.
whatever's easy. And
Yep.
so if it doesn't come to us easy, then we just, I don't know, like you just pass it off because I don't know, it's not easy. But
Yes.
really, if we can ask ourselves, do we actually know? Like what would I do if I knew? Then your brain just automatically goes back to that prefrontal cortex, and that's where you do all your thinking. That's where all the decisions are made. And once
Yes.
you can get yourself in that part of your brain, then it's not as hard. I mean, it's
Right.
still hard, but
Yeah. We still
it's
have to
not as
practice,
hard.
but yeah, I
It
love
doesn't feel
that.
as defeating, I think.
Mhm.
Nancy, I have a question for you. How
Yeah.
often do your clients, when you work them through, how often are they crippled by their ability to decide where things go or how to use things, because they're trying to figure out what would somebody else do? What does my mother-in-law, what would my mother-in-law think about me putting it here? What would my sister-in-law think? What would about the church lady, or what would the neighbor lady? How much of that is in women's head? Like they can't make a decision. They can't trust their own intuition. Like, but I
Yeah.
want to hear.
Yeah. And that's where like the confidence, just like teaching them like the confidence of like just that 20-minute win of just seeing something get done that they actually did themselves. And like, yeah, you can do it like your mother-in-law, but like you know for yourself what's going to function best for your family in that space. And I even tell them I'll because a lot of times it's virtual like this that I'll work with clients now, mostly virtual, and we're on a call like this, and I'm saying, okay, like they're like, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, hey, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Let's think about what this area right here. I'm trying to think of an example, like laundry room. A lot of times for me, like we'll put like light bulbs and things like that in laundry rooms because they'll have like a lot of extra cupboard space. And they're like, that doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm like, okay, see, like, let's like ask some questions to like pull out what is going to make sense for you, because it may not be the same way as your mother-in-law or your mom or the neighbor down the street. Like, what's your fancy? What
Or
is
even house to house. Like I've known from house to
totally?
house,
Yes,
it's like it makes sense in this house to have it here. In this house,
yes.
that doesn't make sense at all.
Totally. And you know what else happens? And I have a membership. And so we were just talking about this on our membership is that a lot of times we move into a new house and we're kind of in a hurry, and wherever it lands is kind of where it lives for like 20 years, right? If you stay in the same house, not you, because you moved so many times, Ruth, but like, if somebody lives in the same house for a long time, it just lands there and it always stays there. And a lot of times it doesn't really make sense. And so it's like taking that space, and this is what we do in my membership, because we break it up in different areas. And it's like, okay, those batteries have lived in your master closet for 20 years. Do you really like your family coming into your master bedroom to get the batteries? Not really. Okay, let's relocate those. Let's like get them into a different space, and just kind of really thinking through. Let's think of your daily lifestyle and what functions for you, and let's make it work for you and for your space, your different house, like you said, like different spaces are, yeah.
Mhm.
So hopefully that
Yeah.
answered that question.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I love it because it's so true. I mean, you come home from the grocery store and it is where it is. And if it doesn't have to be in the refrigerator, then it can just sit on the counter for a couple of days until somebody decides to put it away. Like it's the
yeah,
same type of concept,
yes,
right?
yep, yeah.
So
And
my
also, oh, sorry.
go
Also,
ahead.
it's like just remembering that clutter is just information. So, like, a lot of times we just take it as like, I don't know where this should go. Okay, well, does it belong on the kitchen counter? Where would be like a different home that would function better than the kitchen counter, right? It's just looking at it as like, oh, this doesn't have a home address, and that's why it's landing on the kitchen counter or on the desktop or, whatever. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. I do think that there are brains that naturally go this direction. Like Ruth's brain and your brain, obviously, naturally go this direction. My brain does not. My brain is an ADD brain.
Mhm.
It is like whatever's fun is what I'm going to do. And so if I walk in the door and I've got plans to do whatever it is I'm going to do, and something else comes up that's funner, it is really hard for me to not go with whatever is funner, you know, because that's just kind of like literally squirrel brain. I've had to kind of recognize that about myself and put some things in place. But my point is being organized has helped my brain be able to be more scattered and still be able to function
love that.
because I have systems, or I have some things that are organized. So we have systems that just go because I've taken the time to put those systems in. So then it gives my brain the freedom to just go, to do whatever it does. But if I don't have those systems in place and the organization in place, then it is a dumpster fire.
I
love
would
it.
argue you can almost,
Oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think this is the mentality that a lot of people have, like spontaneous personalities,
Mhm.
right? And I would argue that I'm actually organized by force. I actually really have, it's like I'm a free spirit that's imprisoned by all the circumstances. That feels like really covert narcissistic. I'm organized so that I can be spontaneous.
Yes.
I manage my money so that I can go spend it on whatever I want. So like when I want to go have fun with my kids, we can go have fun. We know where the beach towels are. We know where the sunscreen is. We can just go, and it doesn't turn into hungry kids, sunburn, like whatever, like, you know what I mean? So if you're organized, if you have a system, again, if you put a little bit of more effort now in, it can pay dividends later. Just take a little moment to
100%.
organize your closet or your like whatever, your shoes. You know where your shoes are. How much time have I spent? Well, waiting. I wait for my kids to find their shoes. I don't go find their shoes. I wait for my kids to go find their shoes because they won't use the system put in place. They want to, you know, do what's fun. They want to take their shoes off where it's fun. But if you take your shoes off where it is, now you have more fun because we didn't just lose 2 hours of pool time finding your dadgum shoes.
I love that. But also like, realizing like kids are going to act the way they act for their age. Excuse me. So like my 15-year-old, his room is 90% of the time an absolute nightmare. And me just going, yep, that's pretty much what a 15-year-old does, right? But have created systems that like every Friday, I'm like, okay, let's get everything back to home base, you know? And he knows how to get it back to home base. But like, I just learned a long time ago, it's not, if the relationships are worth more than anything else. And that's just like, you know what? Our main areas of our home, and I like them to be organized and function the way they go. But if your room, you want it a hot mess all week, great, do that. But then on Friday, let's like get it back to home base. And I've just found that just makes our relationships better, you know? So,
Yeah.
but
And it's
I
a
totally
learned
agree.
skill. Like I have a daughter, she has the artist brain. And I remember when she was younger, like I have some kids, they get it. They just like, I show them what and they like get it. And she wants to embellish everything. That's her artist brain. Right.
yeah.
And I remember one time, like we were both frustrated with each other. And she was like, Mom, I just don't see it. And so that's where it's a skill, but some people catch on sooner than others. So that's why, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, that would be wonderful. That's why people like Jancy exist. She can teach you the skill. We all have gifts. Some things come fast to us and some things are hard labored for. Is that, can I say it that way?
Yeah.
You have to labor hard for them, but they're worth it. And that's why they are valuable. Again, it's like that baseball line from League of Their Own. It's the hard that makes it great.
Love that. Yeah.
Right? If fool's gold is everywhere, but a high value woman is something that you work toward. So if this is your weakness, get a hold of Jancy. She will walk you through it.
Yeah. Yes, that's
Yes.
perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect segue because we're out of time. So Jancy, tell everyone how they can work with you. And if they want more of your organization tips and stuff, tell us all the things you have.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you can find me over on Instagram mostly at Finding Your Fancy, and Fancy is FANCEE. I always give free tips and advice over there. I love it. You can also find me on my website, findingyourfancy.com. And kind of fun, this is like a perfect timing for it. But right now I have two things going on. I have a bundle, it's called Simplifying for the Holidays. And you can find that over on Instagram, the link to that. And basically it's just teaching you how to have a simpler holiday, right? We feel a little frazzled sometimes, and just teaching you some tools to have a simpler holiday. And then I also have a workshop coming up November 7th through the 9th that's called Simplifying Made Easy. And I'm just going to teach you everything you need to just make simplifying easier so that you can start getting organized for the new year. So, and then my membership is opening up in December for the new year, and we organize a different space every month. So we're starting with your closets, and we probably need to have you in there, Sherry, in the membership.
Yeah.
It's fun to have you in there as a guest. So
yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you. Thanks for letting me come. You guys are fun to hang out with. So thank you so much. I love it.
Thanks for coming on. It was so fun to see your presentation. That was so good. So good. So we appreciate you coming and joining us today. So, okay, that is all for this week. And if you want to find Jancy, go over to findingyourfancy.com and get all of her free stuff. And we will see you guys next week on another live. Talk to you then. Bye.